So,
Hey! Hello! We're here. Funny story. Actually, everything was ready on time, and then we got into a bit of a heated discussion about a space-based television show.
Those three did.
It could be...
Blame Scott.
It could be any show. It could have been Battlestar Galactica. It could have been Babylon.
68.
Could have been Babylon 9.
68. That's what it was.
What is this? The BBC? There are other.
There are other shows if you wish. Straight out, full disclosure. My entire sound setup has decided to break for no reason. So do tell me if the sound is wrong. I will try and fix it. I don't know why. I was just going to stream on Sunday, and it was like, hey, everything is wrong. Everything is wrong. Nothing is how it should be, but it's all the same. I don't know. Anyway, let's do a stream, shall we? How is everyone?
I'm okay.
Whoa.
I haven't seen Star Trek, so I'm not in a bad mood.
This is also true.
Good enough for me.
It's okay, Dean. I'm going to be able to say that every week moving forward, so we're good.
Ooh, seething review there from Scott.
What happened last week? Well, it was a very interesting week because we didn't have old darling Vale. So interestingly enough, we went to the city of Northenden. Northenden is known as the Free City. It's been talked about in whispers by some other people because it's sort of this... It's seen as an idyllic wonderland for all races, right? Whether you agree with that or not, whether you think it's true or not, I don't care. That's what people think. They've gone there with... Vale was like, well, come on, let's go, eh? And then Neil wasn't here. So, at in a drunk night of partying, Gilwyn decided to go to what I like to call minor villainy for the sake of boredom, and completely fucked over a Goliath guy. Went and climbed a mountain, the mountain beside Northenden, and in hopes of treasure. Didn't get any. And then was starting to climb back down. The Goliath noticed that he'd been screwed up by you, confronted you, and you know what? That whole encounter with the Goliath could have been completely perfect with Gilwyn sacrificing some gemstone, or I think just a gemstone.
Ruined it.
And then Salney was like, hey! Fuck you! More or less. Scott tried to do something that just... It made everything work. It escalated everything.
Oh, you talking about the very end of the session
Yes.
where I was like, hey, listen, DM, you're stopping the game with us being miles away from the other PC. I'm trying to give
you can try. No.
Here is a
You can fucking try and make that point. That point makes no sense, Scott.
When I watched it was, hey, you know giants, like some of their dueling and fighting is throwing rocks at each other. And
Is that with
Goliaths are like giant
Goliath.
kin. And then you throw a rock at him down a mountain.
I
I'm
understand.
not entirely sure how well that one's.
I understand your DM pandering
I gave
point,
him a pebble.
but it doesn't. One,
Like
you don't
probably
need to
as
fucking
big
do
as-
that.
Like as big as your hand.
Two, you threw it at him down a mountain at someone who hates you. Actually hates you. And maybe Gilwyn, he would have given benefit of the doubt because he got to know you. But you just gave him the stink eye since the moment you met him. So he genuinely hates you.
I didn't even regard him.
For most people, that's considered even like the same, you know. For
Yeah,
a gnome, they're like,
They
no, I
don't
ain't not.
like
I.
they exist.
A gnome's like,
And
oh, I
there's a
ignored
lot
them.
of
It doesn't
slide
count.
over as well because he's a Goliath. You were like, ooh, okay, I'm done.
Actually got up and walked away.
Yeah, he got up and walked away. So yeah, he tried the Goliath because Sowney pissed him off. Tried to kill you. Melody defended you by using Earth Tremor brilliantly on a cliff to kill the Goliath. On a mountain.
She was told to by Gil.
She was told to.
Yeah,
She was told to by Gil.
It was a Pokemon move.
And it was. And then has caused a minor avalanche.
Ollie, I think you're missing the most important detail here.
Yeah, I probably am.
Gilwyn is an asshole that caused all of this.
Gilwyn is an asshole because he caused all of this because he was bored. Do not let...
Sally was perfectly fine, sitting there and tinkering. And just letting the days waste away. And
there were other things you could have done.
Let's go do some shit.
We can't let it. I think maybe Gilwin's learned a lesson today. So where we ended off is Gilwin actually didn't get caught in the avalanche through speed and wits and dumb luck. He ended up in a cave with some of the rock people the tiny rock people that they encountered, and also
Melody tried to like help the others get him out of the way, and actually she just like went Melody and jumped on Sam and held on to him.
That's basically what Melody did. But
She tried.
Gilwin wasn't alone. Gilwin was with Raj, which is Melody's friend, and straight up can see her. This little this fey creature the size of a small child. And after some heated, annoyed discussions, the two of them decided to go out into the still kind of going on avalanche, using the fey powers that Raj has to and Gilwin's location magic to find them. And it's pretty cool. But we're not gonna start off with Gilwin, so we know what Gilwin's doing. We're gonna turn the camera to Vale. Now, we're not going to talk about what Vale's been doing in the city for 4 or so days. We can get back to that later. What's important is that one day you're actually out in the open. You're training. You're training with your sword. So you're dueling. And Northenden, from most places, you can see the mountain behind it. You see an avalanche, and people start panicking. But the panic isn't that bad, especially where you are right now, which is actually in the the ground floor of the Palace of Northenden. People aren't panicking, they're just like, oh, look at that. Oh, and actually a lot of people are like, isn't it beautiful? But Vale has that realization. He's already maybe worried about Gilwin at the very least. But then he's like, my friends are on that mountain.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So I assume, Vale, you fucking leg it towards the mountain.
It's like that scene in Lord of the Rings where the beacon of Minas Tirith is lit, and I'm like,
The beacon is lit. The avalanche is happening.
Exactly.
And very similarly, well, not very similarly, but in talking about beacons, there would be bells ringing in the city as soon as it's like really noticed what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can sprint to Galley. There is actually, I'm not too familiar with mountains, and I have most of climbing gear, but I don't have rope. So,
here's the thing. You don't know this, but this part of the mountain is actually quite easy to climb. But of course, Vale doesn't know that.
So I would probably go and try and buy some rope, like
real quick.
Yeah.
Like you run into like a general store and you're like sitting there like tapping your feet like, come on, and it's like a really slow like elf at the counter like, what would you like today, sir?
I need some rope. Just some rope. 60 foot of rope.
60 foot? That's not a standard sizing, sir.
Well, what is the standard sizing?
Let me look in the back for you, sir. And just sort of goes in the back, through some beads, into the back room. And it's just that thing where it would be annoying anyway, but you're like, oh, come on. Rope, regular old rope is 1 gold.
Right,
50
done.
foot. Gonzo. So you take some
Slam
time. You buy that.
Slam it down on the table and leg it.
What's up? What's up, Dean? What's tickling you?
Just the idea of an elf walking into the back while Vale's like running on the spot.
Yeah, keeping his energy up. You buy that. It takes you way too long. And then did you say you wanted to take Galleon out there? Sure. I know.
You wouldn't take him all the way up.
No, I know what you mean. You'd run him at least through the city.
Yeah.
Something you notice as you're riding through Northenden, you actually don't really know where you're going, and you're trying to like catch signposts while you're going to get where you need to go. But also you can follow the mountain, so it's kind of not the way. I'm not making you do any roll or anything, and you can see the avalanche. Avalanches are kind of like I mean, the avalanche has happened, but avalanches have they linger because they kick up so much snow that it starts it becomes like a mist. Yeah, it comes like a cloudy mist. Now, as you're riding, and you probably you leave out one of the exits of the city and then ride sort of around it up to the mountain. You notice that actually this side of the city walls that face the mountain is designed with sort of a curved, taller wall that's probably meant to actually protect against if there was the big one. If there was a big one, it would be not terrible because it's a city sitting at underneath a mountain. But Vale probably doesn't appreciate that while he's riding. And I'll say you get to the rocky areas of the mountain, and you quite quickly have to get off Galleon and maybe tie him up at like just some random post or a tree you find, and then start trudging up the mountain with no real goal. You're just kind of going up, right? I mean, well, you tell me, Mr. Neil.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I'm heading towards that sort of snow cloud.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Flashwipe, Gilwyn, you actually are leading Raj. Raj is a nature sprite, more or less. She is this child-sized creature with bark-like skin, leafy hair, insect-like wings, and she's holding this like beam of fire in front of her, melting a causeway of snow, which is making it kind of easier to track where you've been. Slightly, because of course that fell through in seconds, and you can't see shit. You can see her because she is glowing red hot because she's doing this spell. She probably can only see you because of unnatural phase shit. Normally that it wouldn't make any sense, you know?
Right.
So what do you do?
As we're going through the snow.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I casted locate objects, right? Last session?
Yes.
Or was that...
but go over that again because, it's a new session.
Yeah, so last session I cast locate object with the hopes to find Sid's cloak that he was wearing.
Melody's cloak.
Melody's cloak that Sid had taken.
Absolutely.
And basically it draped his whole body.
And we went for it. Like, the locate object doesn't require any rolls or anything. It's just a thing that happens. It concentrates for 10 minutes. I will straight up say, in 10 minutes, actually, go ahead and give me a athletics roll.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh no. That's all right.
That's actually fine. That's good enough. So you get pretty far with your 10. You can feel where they are. You have no idea in the context of the mountain where this is. You have no idea on the mountain where you were because any routes are just hidden. You're kind of just relying on, and it's very hard to tell the ground from the air because everything is white right now. So you're kind of just relying on Raj not to lead you off a cliff, and you're not 100% sure she won't.
She can float, yeah.
and she's not talking to you, and you're not talking to her at the moment, anyway. And but you go and you make good ground. You're maybe a third of the way towards where you can feel the object before that spell dissipates and completely disappears in your mind. Timed out. It's only got 10-minute concentration. Gonna take more than 10. Like, you made quick time, but that might have just been the, starting adrenaline,
I've got one slot left, so I'm gonna do that again.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a concentration save and an athletics roll.
Concentration save?
Yes.
It's Constitution.
Constitution save. I'm an idiot.
Okay.
I'm very tired. Oh dear.
And a what, sorry?
And another athletics roll. So actually your athletics is doing okay. This isn't the hardest thing in the world because Raj is making your life a lot easier and you don't need to really worry about the terrain. You do, but you know where you're going. It's not like you're trying to do this blind. So you can kind of like point yourself in a direction and worry about trudging through the really like probably waist-high snow and something else that I forgot what I was going to say. You know how it is. But that Constitution save, yeah, you're going through a cloud of aerated snow. You're waist deep in snow. You have winter gear on. It was built for winter, not coated in snow. You are probably like you got a bit of a your face is probably all coated in snow. Your eyelashes are frozen. Like just being in the cloud of snow that's buffeting you from every angle is freezing you. You have a point of exhaustion, which gives disadvantage on all ability checks. So it's not combat yet. Just keep that in mind while you're going and you're trudging and you feel like you're getting closer and closer, but you really have no idea where you're going. You're just kind of like hoping. But the actual like sort of cloud is getting less dense, so you can see through it a little better. After this 20 minutes is up, you kind of can see your paths again. And the mountain is entirely different than it was before because the snow has fallen in new places and kind of creating new walkways, and rocks have fallen and landed in other places. And I mean, you notice because you're traveling and the ground is incredibly uneven. I mean, it probably would be anyway, but you know what I mean. You're starting to be able to see where you're going right now. Now, Vale, you don't know where you're going. You're 100% blind. Vale, go ahead and give me a survival roll.
Oh boy.
I know, right?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Hey.
Bro.
Yeah.
Oh my sweet
The Neolark.
baby
The
Jesus.
Neolark.
Vale, in what's going through Vale's mind right now?
So he's got his cloak sort of half up over his face as he's stumbling
That's not his mind.
towards the cloud, and he's like, Gilwyn, Salni, Melody.
You think you hear a slight echo of melody.
Yeah, it echoes back around the mountain.
And here's the thing: in his like desperation and determination, Vale is a sun elf, and they're a little sturdier than other elves. But even then, he's an elf. He's just trudging through this snow, almost as if it was nothing. However he's doing it, sometimes you do just have these moments of greatness, especially when you're playing a tabletop board game that has crits. And especially, you know, it's like when a mama lifts a car to save their baby. That's exactly the situation.
Yowen's in trouble.
Vale is the mama.
In the car right now.
Yeah. But here's the thing, Dean. Just when you're like, you know how these spells you know quite well. Locate object. I mean, it's a first level spell, right? Or is it a second level?
Locate object.
Yeah.
Second level.
Oh, I mean, you don't know it super well, but you kind of know the sort of distance, the amount of time you have where you can be pinpointed where something is, and as that's about to wear off, it's literally like just a few seconds before, and that clarity disappears. Of course, you still kind of be like, okay, it was kind of there, which is a lot better now that you can kind of see where you're going. You hear, very in the distance, maybe being carried by the wind, you hear Vale yelling everybody's name. You hear him yell your name several times, Sid's name, and then pause, Melody's name.
I've been at this so long, I'm starting to hear voices. Raj, how long has it been?
Raj's like, not one day. What?
I'll
That
listen out
wasn't
again.
in.
Gilwyn, Salni, you little bastard, get out of the snow.
That's not. That's not in. Is that in my head?
You're hearing that?
I'm hearing that.
Bill!
Gil, where are you?
Bill! And I pull out my I pull out my Titanic whistle and start blowing it.
What? You have a Titanic? I was gonna say, like, what? There's another. There's like, there is a way in 5e to like start with a whistle, and I don't remember how, but I was like, what? Get that whistle.
It's like Sea Guard, maybe.
Maybe.
I
They may have a horn.
shouting. I start shouting Vale backwards. Or back to him, rather.
Vale's gonna like stumble towards the
Both
source
of you
the
give
noise.
me survival rolls, but it's gonna be fairly easy.
We're gonna like roll. horrifically now.
You're gonna get the
Ollie's
one.
gonna have to be like, you pass each other.
It's
You go
actually
past
great, but what happens is you're yelling this, and I don't know if Gilwin would notice. Raj is no longer there. You kind of see this streak of melted snow, and then this red, which you then, after the moment of like, first you were like, that's red, and you're like, that's fire, or between two hands of this sprite, just appears before Vale, and then very quickly goes invisible again, and it completely vanishes. You see it for like a split second, and you're like, oh shit, am I hallucinating? Is it that cold? Can that happen from the cold? No, that's probably the whole thing. I mean, Vale doesn't know anything about cold. Meh, who gives a fuck?
You get cold times in the winter in High Thundrel.
I was going to say, in Thundrel actually gets really cold in the winter. Which is why I was like, huh.
But it's not the same because it's well looked after in High Thundrel.
Yeah, exactly. But you can easily, through yelling each other's name over and over until your throats are hoarse, and the little track made in the snow.
We're used to that.
Which...
Goodbye.
Look here, you little shit.
Character arc completed.
Chekhov's horse throat. You can see each other. Now, there's a large distance between you, and there's this sort of semi-rocky, mostly snowy plateau, and there's a mist, and the mist is really thick up to like... I mean, the snow is no longer waist deep. In this area, it's actually, travelable. It's not great, but it's travelable. The snow, the snowy cloud is really thick, up to like a waist height, and then it kind of dissipates more and more, and you can see each other through it. Both of you give me perception checks. There's also a tree between you.
God damn it!
Well,
Damn.
It's veneer rolls.
Touch wood.
Veneer rolls.
So Gilwin is kind of like peering in there and probably realizes it's Vale. And Vale, you're like, that's Gilwin. What is that? And you know what? Let me just give me a quick moment to, do what I need to do here.
Okay.
Don't be suspicious at all.
like a troll behind Gilwin. Just like lyric. Like, oh my god, it's terrible that I can't remember this. Like,
Eddie Geddy.
No. Like, the thing that eats the Tauntaun in Star Wars. Why
Oh
can I
yeah.
The
I don't remember that. Wampa.
Oh yeah.
Just like
idiot.
comes out the snow. Just smacks you around the face.
So, what you see... I'm in
It looks like an
Ollie.
old
Oh
fall
god,
Stanley.
it's a Wampa.
That's fine.
What's this? Yeah, I know. I did things in the wrong order. I was like, oh, remember to do this. Did it in the wrong order. I haven't had this set up for that long, so it's gonna be fucked up. Vale, you see Gilwin across the snow, and you're like, it's Gilwin, and you maybe look around because you're slightly smart, and you're like, oh, well, maybe there's anything else going on.
Where's Sally? Where's Melody?
And you see this thing, and your description of it being a Wampa isn't entirely wrong. It's this huge gorilla-like thing. Now, does Vale know what a gorilla is? Maybe. But this huge white and grey mottled-furred gorilla-y beast. Its face is way more bestial than a gorilla's would be, though. It's, got horns, it's got these huge fangs, and its eyes are just this piercing, horrible blue. And then you see, between you two and it, you're like, what is it doing? It's going towards something. It hasn't noticed you two. No, it's walking towards this mound in the snow. This mound in the snow you could see with your roll, because your roll was, like, actually good. I like how I sounded surprised there. It's not like a rock. It is it's two bodies. It's Melody cradling Sid. Completely... Well, they're not moving, but, like, mama bared around him.
I'm kind of.
And interesting enough, like, Sid's still in the cloak, so, like, Melody is completely out to the...
I'm kind of disappointed that Sid's not in the snow with his legs kicking out like that.
I think what I would have liked to see is like us turn up and
That's
Melody's
fucking good.
dead, but Melody's been like cut open and
Sid's
inside.
inside?
Like,
I think Sid would be...
survive.
I think Sid would go to that. Maybe not with a humanoid, but I think Sid would absolutely taunt something.
I thought she smelled bad. On the outside.
Oh boy.
Oh, you made me fucking Jimmy Carr laugh. You happy?
Oh boy.
So, this is what you see. I'm gonna go ahead and say, you two roll initiative. I'm sorry, Melody and Sid. You're fucking unconscious. You were in a fucking avalanche.
Yes.
What a waste of a natty 20. What did I tell you, Gil?
If I see green, I'm happy.
Where is the dice right now? I don't have dice rolling for some reason. Soz? I don't know. Whatever.
Not
Maybe
a baller.
Not a problem. Weird. It might sort itself. Maybe Roll20 is having an issue. Sometimes it just doesn't do the dice. Anyway.
Well, I rolled a 3.
I nearly rolled a real dice. I was going for
did
it.
it? Yeah, I had to kick that habit so hard with this.
I sometimes reach for it and I'm like, wait a minute.
Well, I did it all the first session. I kept being like, oh.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh! Don't worry about it. So, Gilwyn, you see Vale, and then you see Vale looking towards something.
With,
And
like,
then,
bullshit.
like in fear, and then you very quickly, because of his face, can see that something is this huge creature, and, then you see Melody and Sid between them. So, you very quickly piece things together, and it's your turn first.
Do we have any impaired vision? Or
you have impaired vision, but that's mostly that you're going to have harder DCs for rolls.
Okay.
You actually don't
And,
have
like,
like in
impaired
this place.
movement in the snow, I presume.
No impaired movement in the snow. This is fucking long distances as it is.
Okay. Did you say I can see Melody and Salma?
You can see everything. You can
Okay.
see everything you see. Yeah, it's cloudy. It's like this guy looks more like a Bigfoot video right now. But yeah, you can see everything.
Okay. I'm going to move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Here.
Absolutely perfect.
And hopefully... Uh-oh.
I know, right? This is like the longest range you've ever encountered.
No! Son of a bitch!
It's so hard to get this arena to fit on the bloody screen. Doesn't want to do it.
Dissonant Whispers is 60 foot, so I can't do that.
Oh yeah, Disney Whispers is fairly short range.
Damn. So, hang on. In that case, then. I'm going to, just because I assume there'll be missing hit points,
Oh yeah.
cast Healing Word on Melody.
Ian, roll me initiative, please. And roll healing words.
So I guess my hit point should have been at 0
Your
previously.
hit points were at 0. You were both unconscious but stable.
Yeah, you're on ice.
So you get 7 HP back, and Melody, you come quietly back to life, feeling cold and empty and alone. But you're still on the floor. With that turn done, I'm not on the right screen. I'm just not with it today. Soz boys. Expect shit. But then why else are you here, right? What else are you going to expect? Then it's Vale. You see, you know when Gilwyn's casting this ability by now. You know what he was doing. Yeah. But it's probably a little more panicked and coughing.
Like, Melody.
So it's your turn, Vale. What do you do? I see you have a nice tree there.
I do indeed.
Mm.
Do indeed have a nice.
That's all the audience can really see, because I was an idiot and this map is very hard to see properly on the thing.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Just because you can scroll off like the right and bottom sides, you can't scroll off the top or this.
Dash.
Oh yeah, you're a rogue, which makes this all make a lot more sense.
6. And then I'm gonna take my. Oh, that's it actually. Yeah.
You could take your attack action to dash, to also dash. Scott, stop writing a novel.
But if you are writing a novel, can we have a sex scene in it?
I'm not assuming if Scott's writing a novel, it's not an autobiography.
4, 5, 6.
But if it was an autobiography, it would be heavily embellished.
And that is my
Whoa!
time.
Whoa! Whoa!
I don't know. This seems like the kind of
Yay
Scott
big,
thing to do.
Ollie! Yay big.
Like a baguette. Melody.
Like a baguette.
You're coming back to reality. Snap back to reality. You have the cold, limp body of Sid in your arms. You thought you heard Gilwin's voice, and you now can see, like you probably look around, you see Vale running up. And it's one of these things where, yeah, there is actually deep snow here, but the snow is so, like, compacted in some places, and you're so used to being running through snow. I'm not giving you the snow rules for this. I don't want to.
Like Legolas in it.
Yeah, he's just Legolasing it, yeah. So you see him
show.
run up and then probably stop and like look at you very briefly. I know he's not actually close enough to do like a proper roll, but that's probably what he's doing. And then look at the thing behind you.
Okay, so I do see that. In that case, seeing that, I'm like, I stumble to my feet. Uses half my movement.
Yes.
Then I've got 15-foot movement left, so I move around this side, and just like I want to delay this thing. I'm going to cast Entangle, like just so that it's caught on the edge of it, and there's like the square is because the square becomes difficult terrain.
Yes. Go ahead and click Entangle real quick for me. It's one of those things where Melody, you start trying to do this, and it doesn't happen immediately, and you feel kind of like empty, and then it all suddenly happens. And I mean, Melody knows exactly what happens. You didn't have Raj there, and then she kind of like latched onto your back and let you cast a spell. 20-foot square, absolutely perfect, absolutely flawless.
Do we notice this, like... her
You
failing-
can't
that she fails to get it up.
You
and then-
see her
and then
like
the second try.
you see her like doing stuff, but neither of you can see Raj anymore. So is that the place you want it?
Yeah, more or less.
Do you want it to be like old gnarled roots that you've drug somewhere from down in the mountain?
Yes, absolutely, because it would be plant-based.
Yeah.
And
Not the
I
roots
can't
of the
do anything
mountain.
else. I mean, I could. Can I? Have anything
Oh,
I
it
can
must
use?
make a strength save.
I like
I'm
that.
so glad that Skoink isn't watching this to gift that.
What did you do?
It was a face for Dean only.
I like how when I'm not paying attention, you guys are doing your own shit sometimes. But it's also just like, can you not? Sometimes it's bad. This guy completely fails his save, assuming your DC is at least 10.
Oh, yeah.
So he is restrained, which is actually great for you.
Yeah, I can't do anything else. So.
Great. Well, I mean, that was really awesome. So it now is struggling to get out of this. A creature restrained by the plants can use its action to make a strength check against your spell save DC. What is your DC?
14.
14. Perfect. It's going to try and make a strength save. Now, this thing is strong. The old gnarled roots that you're dragging up from underground. It's like pulling, and you're getting it, and it's like legs and a bit front of its arms because it definitely was knuckle walking. And then it is like trying to drag itself like out of it, and also charge through it at the same time, which doesn't always work. But let's see, shall we? Yeah, it absolutely gets through. But it's still difficult terrain, which is actually great, because this creature, if it wasn't going through difficult terrain, would be fast.
Yeah.
Look at his little face. He's kind of cute. I kind of want to keep him.
Kind of looks like an evolved form of Salny.
What?
Evolution.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I can see
The
it now.
tea is served. So, yeah, it managed to get out of the entangle, but that did exactly what you wanted, Melody. It delayed it, and that's absolutely perfect. Now, it's Gilwin's turn. Gilwin is somewhere over here. There he is, right over there. I can probably zoom out a bit now.
Okay.
Gil,
And from there. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm now in range to cast what I wanted to cast the first time, which is Dissonant Whispers. In the hopes that to delay this guy even more so we can get Stanley back up.
Go ahead and click it, friend. Whisper of Discordant Memory. Oh yes, because I was confusing Dissonant Whispers and
Vicious Mockery.
Vicious Mockery. I can never remember which one's which because I haven't played Bard as a player. So, what do you do? What are you whispering over there through the wind and the rain?
I whisper, Maya here, Maya oh, Maya ah, Maya ah.
Okay, sure, fine.
And it just
I'll
it
allow
can't
it.
help but dance.
Gilwyn is dealing with the fact that he maybe killed his friends, but sure he does. Uma. That's fine by me. What's your spell save DC, Mr. D?
13.
You aren't sure whether... I actually don't think anyone's passed one of these spells against you before. I think you've always succeeded, but I might be just entirely wrong. You're like, this'll slow it down, or hurt it, and it is just, like, it's finally got out of there, and it's, like, dragging the roots off its body, and then it didn't notice you in Vale before, and then it's like... and it, like, echoes...
I wanted it to look at you and go, Numan, about it. And then start charging.
Woo! And then, you assume it's probably going to start charging.
I still need to roll damage, and then you take half of that.
Oh, great. Awesome. So it takes 6 damage, which actually is, like, still great.
Yeah.
But it resisted the worst of it.
And for my bonus action, I'm going to cast Healing Word on Salny.
Oh! Sowney, roll initiative, please.
Get up!
Max again.
Yeah. Max heals.
Get up, you son of a bitch. Mickey loves you.
Get up, you son of a bitch. Alright, awesome.
5 again.
Vale. Yeah, I know, right? We're very consistent today, which is good. Vale!
I was gonna like charge the thing, it's just like lob him over his shoulder.
What's this?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I take my bonus action to 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, there was a dice. Weird.
And then I'm a stab him in his forearm with my short sword.
Right in the forearm. No one wants to be stabbed in the forearm.
Exactly. There's a lot of muscle going on there, really.
There is for me. I'm a tiny baby man.
16 to hit.
16 to hit is a big boy hit right there.
And this is also the old sneakeroo. So that's
Oh
22.
shit! Yeah, it's a bloody duelist
Swashbuckler.
Swashbuckler thing. So 22 damage. You rush up and do a flourish of attacks at the thing. Gilwyn, maybe if you weren't scared. I don't know how scared you are. But if it wasn't this exact situation, you might notice that Gilwyn is actually Vale is actually got a lot more form than he used to. You don't notice that right now.
No,
he's just slashing this thing. He slashes this thing. Its attention is immediately drawn from Gilwyn to Vale here, as you just slice open huge areas of this thing's arm, and some of it starts immediately freezing over. And maybe it's that cold, but you don't think so. That seems crazy. Is that your turn?
That is my turn.
Melody.
So okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
There it is. That's the thing.
I don't even have to say it anymore. It just happens automatically.
It's a meme.
I hear it in my nightmares. At night when I have a fever, I'm like, Melody, no!
Okay. Given that I presumably noticed magic being cast on Sid, I am going
Yes.
to. I'm basically going to point at this creature and normally see a lot more flourish to her magic. It's normally a lot more obvious. But here she just whispers something in Sylvan, not the language that you're unfamiliar with.
Mhm.
And casts.
Oh,
the
yes.
thing.
I remember this. I
Indeed.
remember this. Constitution? Oh, guess what? It's good at Constitution.
I'm not surprised,
it's
but
a
it's worth a
fucking
try.
Yeti. It nearly rolled a 1. It didn't. It passes.
Wow.
It kind of like is way interested in Vale right now, and it kind of just like swats with its other hand as you're like whispering in Sylvan and kind of like flourish. Nothing seems. It does. It's not. It's bothered, but it's not like hurt.
Splashes a bit of snow in your face, puts you off.
What else do you want to do, Mrs. Melody?
Mr. Miyagi, were you going to say?
I was gonna say Mr. Melody. I was gonna say Mr. Miyagi. Come on.
Miss Melody will merely stand in front of Sid protectively, at least until he gets back.
Awesome.
I'm not moving or anything.
Sid, you come. I think you do come spluttering back to consciousness.
He's just kind of like the spell casts. He does the healing word, and then like as Melody is like standing over him, like he's not moving. The spell is cast. He's not moving. I imagine all of a sudden from like lying there and just being perfectly still, he's just like, oh no, oh god, it's cold. Oh man, what is that? Like sitting up and looking over and seeing the big beast thing, and just kind of like scrambling to his feet and looking around for his weapon. Is his weapon around? I mean, we're in an avalanche, so
I'm gonna be nice and assume that you were clinging. You had it in your inventory, so yeah,
okay,
it's
I
fine.
did.
Melody
I
was
did.
like holding it.
I'm not gonna say your unless for no reason your bag was opened and everything fell out. That would be a very good way to start a sequel.
Oh,
of course, but not. No, you have your war spicard.
I had the wrong character sheet open, so technically speaking, when I rolled my initiative, I may have rolled too high.
Ooh, whatever.
Hold on one second.
It doesn't
Let me
change
just open
anything because you would be after. The way we're doing is that you're after Melody anyway. So it's okay.
Okay. It would be one lower. It'd be a 4.
Yeah,
Does that affect
it's-
anything? No, it doesn't affect
no.
anything. If you want to change another character
I'll
sheet, I'm so
change
sorry,
it
my
to
fault.
4 because it's okay. That's like entirely okay.
I'm so sad.
There you go. So sorry about that. Thank you. I had the wrong character sheet. I realized that when I couldn't find my abilities. I was like, what? Oh, there. Okay, so kind of like sitting up and grabbing my item and being like, oh, what is that thing? And then I realized that my companions are fighting it. I'm like, I might as well assist my friends with what this thing is. So I'm actually going to, I'm going to tweak it. My weapon. And I'm actually going to use an embedded shot. And I'm going to attack it.
Awesome.
I'm not going to hit it like with the spike spickered part. I'm just going to do it like a hand crossbow.
Push the target.
Do you put a boxing glove on the end of the arrow and fire it? Yeah, that hits.
It's just extra force, Ollie. It's just extra. So what it is actually, so if you imagine a typical arrow is designed to like just penetrate the target, right? What I do is I grab it. Almost looks like a handguard that like for like the hilt of a weapon, a handguard, a circular one.
It's a hammerhead arrow
to the back of the arrow. Yeah. So as it stabs into them, it also throws them backwards somewhat as well.
Awesome.
So I hit them, and I'm gonna roll my damage.
Awesome. And they are knocked back 10 feet. And I'm going to do it this way, because that way it's actually kind of technically in the entangle.
That was 5 feet.
No.
10 feet's 2 squares.
It will move 2 squares. I pressed the buttons twice. It counts.
I get an attack of opportunity.
No, Scott, is this the case? I never remember this. You don't get attack of opportunities from unwilling movement, right?
Correct.
So you don't get an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
That's one of those rules that I just never remembered.
I did not know that.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things that occasionally comes up. I'm like, huh? Scott will know this. So yeah, you
Scott's
don't
in
get
his little
you get
cave with a load of books, and it's like, yes, come.
I am the dungeon master.
Yeah.
Come to me with your questions 3.
And you go to
What AC is chainmail?
Like,
Ooh.
Scott, it says here in 4E, and he just screams at you. Dave.
4E?
Then you get thrown off the bridge.
So,
It's not a real edition.
so, what the Yeti does. What the Yeti does.
What does the Yeti do?
I was thinking that, but you know, you're just funnier than me, I guess. Or more ballsy. It
Yeah, that
sort of yells, and it kind of like grabs at its face, and one of its arms is completely bleeding, but kind of half frozen over, and then like grabs and drags its hands down its face, and its face is kind of coated in ice. It just glares at Gilwyn, and clearly you can tell there's some kind of natural magic going in. Gilwyn, give me a Constitution save, please.
Disadvantage, right? Because of exhaustion?
No. That's level 3 exhaustion, you get disadvantage on saves. You just have disadvantage on ability checks right now, which is actually okay. I think it's disadvantage on ability checks, minus 10 speed, disadvantage on saves and attack rolls, minus 20 speed, and then unconscious, and then dead, I think. Something like that. Okay. Yeah, unless you're a sand dwarf. So,
Is it dwarf?
You know what
Rolls
I mean.
off the tongue better.
It does. It's the double D's, baby. You are... It's not like there's a beam of magic happening. It glares at you, and Gilwyn starts to freeze. And starts to freeze, and maybe is conscious of this, maybe gets a peep out, but probably don't.
My dick is
You take 11 damage, and you are paralyzed, but you're actually frozen. It's literally like in an anime, you know, like just like a coating of ice all around him, and he's probably about to say something and then freezes. So he's got that whole Han Solo thing going on. Perfect. And now Gil, no, it's not done. You think I was done? The Yeti? The Yeti's never done, bitch. Yeti doesn't say that. For the record.
The
Yeti kind of...
The
The Yeti is pushed back and does a sort of... And then charges at Vale and
At
just...
which point you hear a, oh shit. As he holds up like his small metal implements against this thing's bludgeoning force. And he's like, how do I use a parrying dagger here?
Vale gets attacked.
It's like Winston's ultimate. That's what I pictured.
It's exactly Winston's ultimate. Well, sorry for dropping in. I love Winston. There was a player character in one of my old games who was sort of like the orc version of Winston, but he didn't do the voice, and it always upset me. Just like, just do the voice, man. Just somehow, just learn how to do the voice. I could do the voice. If you ever meet that guy, he's gonna be like, well, hello there, hello. Sorry for dropping in. Anyway, it's the only line I can remember. Vale, you get mauled. It's one of those things. It's like a punch, and then like a scratch, and like a punch and scratch, and it's multiple attacks. And there's this ice is flaking off it as it's doing, and when the ice flakes off it kind of clings to you. And where you're kind of dealing with the cold right now, these bits are so crazily cold they start like freezing onto your cloak, not really your skin. So you take 7 damage from the initial attack, and then you take 4 cold damage from the cold effect.
There was 7 damage from the initial.
Yeah, so you overall took 11 damage, because you're not a barbarian, you don't need to care. Gilwyn, go ahead and give me a Constitution save, please.
Okay.
Okay.
From my frozen state, can I please use my last luck to re-roll?
You can use luck while you're frozen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Whoa.
You see Gilwyn's frozen, and it's like... And like, oh, shit. That is your entire turn.
I'll take it.
You were just perfectly... There was another frozen bit. Probably the ice freezing onto Vale reflects the sun in just the right way, but it melted the ice on Gilwyn just enough to crack it for him to get out of.
That and I pissed myself.
That and he pissed himself. But I'm trying to make it so that lucky actually is just like good luck, but also he pissed himself. You know, it's important to keep in mind. He's steaming right now.
He was so scared when he started freezing up that he peed himself, and it froze his legs and let him break free.
I can just imagine, because it's very similar to what happens when you're petrified. If you're petrified, it's just like an area that's like a sort of sulfury yellow. It's gross. Anyway, speaking of sulfury yellow, Vale, it's your turn.
Oh, dude, it's like a golden. It's a nice.
You're a beautiful golden brown. We can take you out of the oven now.
Bear's like, so he's just been like brutally beaten around, and he's on his hands and knees, and he's like, yep, didn't think so. And he looks like the useless little shitty parrying dagger. And then he like turns around and then takes a slash with the short sword. Oh no, might not hit.
That's a hit.
Oh, it's a hit. 10 damage. 10 damage again.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting good hits. You're just getting like raw strength. I know you're a dex person, but these are like raw strength attacks, you know? That really just...
7 sneak attack damage. And then I can't remember whether a fire powder pistol is light. Is it light?
I think we changed. I think we changed it to be light because I didn't have it light to start with. It is meant to be light.
Because this will either be a drop the parrying dagger on the floor, pull the pistol in its face, or a parrying dagger. And the pistol is much cooler, obviously. Firepower.
Well, you'd be taking your bow. You'd be taking, unless you were going to just throw the dagger away.
Yeah.
And then
on the floor.
Sure, that's fine. So you can absolutely shoot them in the face with the pistol.
And I will adjust my armor class.
It's like Bloodborne now.
Oh yeah, that's the fucking point.
So cool.
Firepower pistol. Oh no, it's not gonna hit.
You just shoot, and there's just like a cloud of dirt basically comes out because you haven't used this thing, you haven't really cleaned this thing very well. It's just like black cloud and dirt just like kind of kicks back in your face. You're like, the one time you relied on it failed you.
Son of a bitch.
You're not blinded or anything like that. It's just it didn't work. Melody, your turn.
What am I going to prioritize? This is the question. Vale probably looked like he took a bit of a beating there, but
You did just see me get slapped to the ground, like.
Yeah, but Melody isn't quite as attached to you as she is the other two.
It's a mutual feeling, you know how it is.
Yeah. There is a reason, but so rather than immediately rushing up to defend you, Melody just puts like a hand to her own face and just goes, you see the glow of magic, and that's good. Take some health. And then
that's great.
Yeah, for the time being, she is just going to stay there.
Awesome. Sid, you saw that attack not only was efficient, but did piss it off.
I think what I'm going to do with this one, because his range is, how far is he from me? Hold on, I just want to double check something. Range of that was, okay, yeah, I have a good range of that. I think I'm going to go, I'm trying to stay safe. Yeah, I don't have to worry about where I am. I don't have to worry about hitting my friends. So I'm going to stay where I am. I'm going to calibrate the weapon.
Sure.
Giving it a bonus to attack rolls. So I'm going to make my attack roll again. Because I can do this how many times? It's a handful. I think it's, there it is. 4 times for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say
4 times.
4 or so for you.
Didn't need it.
Didn't need it. But, you know, Sid's going to say that he did, because...
Oh, wait a second. Do you have to say what it is before you make the roll? Actually, it's after you roll, before you see before you know the result. That's like the way it works. It's the way it works at all 5e abilities. Like Paladin, I attack. Now I'm going to add smite.
Only smite.
That's only divine smite.
Yeah,
like
this
I'm going to find
absolutely house. Well, either way, absolutely house ruling, because you're doing this before you shoot. This is how it works.
Smite isn't technically.
Smite is you swing, and as the sword is hitting them, then you cast the spell.
No. I understand that. It's all the bonus action abilities. It's literally across the board.
Yeah, probably with bonus action abilities, but you absolutely have to do it beforehand. You asshole.
Yeah.
Trying to get that advantage.
But that because I was thinking about doing this one instead, the Thundermonger one instead, but never mind. I'll just. It makes sense. I have to do it before I roll, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's. I find
Like,
it weird
thematically, it makes sense. I'm not
that
going to
you
argue with
call
you.
the divine smite on a paladin.
Awesome.
afterwards.
You
That's what makes it so strong.
you shoot. It's an absolutely clear shot. It's not as powerful as the first one, but it sailed. The bolt sailed like a beautiful thing, and you appreciate it. You saw the glint in it as it flew, and you appreciate it, Sid. You appreciate it.
Bolt sailed like Titanic.
Bolt sailed.
No
What is it?
shoes.
What is it with you and Titanic today?
They'll
just saying.
saw Melody cast
Oh, yeah.
cast a healing spell and then just ignore him, and then he saw Salny tote up his little crossbow and go "Ting-grrr," and he was like, yes.
So this weird spindly thing keeps hurting the Yeti. The Yeti doesn't like it. The Yeti first of all roars in his face, and a little bit of that, and then attacks old Vale, just immediately swinging at him.
Vale's about to get slapped to shit.
That's where I'm seeing my confusion. Okay. So, because the other ability that I was contemplating doing was the Thundermonger, but that was supposed to be as part of the attack. But when we made this version, we tweaked it to be as a part of tweak, so it's a bonus action. So it's a normal attack, but it's a bonus action. Your ruling is 100% perfect.
Vale,
It should
did you
be
change?
beforehand.
Did you change your AC because you dropped the parrying dagger?
I did.
It is exactly a miss.
That's too
It
close. Considering
swings
it did
at
half my
you,
health
and
in a single hit.
it swings, and your eyebrow is just little lines in it, and that's all that happens. And you probably step back, and later you're gonna laugh about it. But right now, you're probably in the same situation as Gilwin.
The skill, yeah. Oh,
And because you kind of jump back from that, he's just like, and does the same thing, grab, stare. Go ahead and give me a Constitution save, Vale.
oh boy.
Congratulations, you're frozen. You take 6 damage and you are paralyzed.
6 damage. Oh boy.
Gilwin.
I shake both of my legs and sort of wring off the excess. And step forward just a tad. Just a
Step forward
touch.
out the yellow snow.
Luckily, you're in an avalanche, so you'll get covered very quickly.
Yeah, that's true. And fuck it, I'm gonna try and cast Dissonant Whispers on it again.
Sweet. What's your DC
So, yeah.
again?
13.
Oh, it nearly failed, but it passed.
Fuck. Roll 3d6.
But
That sucks.
that damage is enough to slay the beast. Gilwin, how do you psychically kill a Yeti? How do you do it?
With a Dissonant Whisper? I think I would just think of the worst melody I could think of and go.
It's a great melody.
Done.
It's like the
No,
that's like the best tune ever. But then guess
I was gonna
Gilwin
say, I
hates
think the
it.
worst melody you can think of is, "Hey, Melody."
I thought that was where the obvious joke was going to be. But
I was
do you
expecting
literally you war tune your own song into this thing's head, and it's like. And it falls face first into the ground. I will say, because of the way you ended up killing it, mostly because it was a very poor damage roll on a thing it totally saved, this is conscious. Of course, it's bleeding out horribly, and it will probably die of exposure soon, but you didn't instantly kill it. What are you going to do? How are you going to deal with your Veil statue and your friends who are frozen and in some pain? We'll figure that out.
Find out
After
next
the
time
break.
after the break.
Next time on Jarviskjir. We'll be back in soon.
Oh yes, Scott. Wave that hand. That's right. Oh boy.